In November 2022, the peaceful college town of Moscow was shaken by a crime so brutal it stunned the entire nation. Four university students were found dead inside an off-campus home. There were no signs of forced entry, no clear motive, and for weeks, no suspect. The victims were Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin. The crime scene was described by investigators as one of the most disturbing they had ever encountered. But the most terrifying question remained: who could commit such a crime and disappear into the night? All four victims were students at the University of Idaho. They were young, full of plans for the future. Friends described them as outgoing, kind, and deeply connected to their community. The house they lived in was a popular gathering place for friends. Laughter and music often filled its rooms. But on the night of November 13th, something went terribly wrong. That evening, the students spent time with friends around town. Some attended parties, others went out for food. Surveillance footage later showed the victims returning home during the early hours of the morning. Inside the house were also two surviving roommates. They slept through most of the night, unaware that a killer had entered the home. Hours later, a horrifying discovery was made. Police were called to the house after someone reported an unconscious person. When officers entered the residence, they found four victims in separate rooms. All had been fatally stabbed. Investigators later confirmed that the weapon was likely a large military-style knife. The small community of Moscow was instantly gripped by fear. Residents locked their doors. Students left campus. Parents demanded answers. For weeks, the police had no suspect. Rumors spread across social media. People began analyzing every detail of the case. The mystery only grew deeper. Investigators began piecing together clues. They examined surveillance cameras, phone records, DNA evidence, vehicle sightings. One key clue emerged: a white sedan seen near the crime scene multiple times that night. Authorities asked the public for help identifying the vehicle. It became the first major breakthrough. Weeks later, investigators focused on a suspect: Bryan Kohberger. Kohberger was a criminology PhD student studying criminal behavior. He lived just miles away, across the state border. Investigators traced his movements using cell phone data. Even more disturbing, DNA evidence allegedly connected him to the crime scene. In December 2022, authorities arrested Kohberger at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. The arrest ended weeks of fear, but it raised a chilling question: why would a criminology student commit such a brutal crime? Some experts believe he may have studied crime scenes to understand how to avoid being caught. Yet investigators eventually gathered enough evidence to bring charges. According to investigators, the evidence included DNA found on a knife sheath, surveillance footage of the suspectus, vehicle, cell phone location data, witness testimony from a surviving roommate. These clues helped prosecutors build their case, but the exact motive remains unclear. Even with an arrest, many questions remain unanswered. Why those four victims? Why that house? And what truly happened inside during those terrifying moments? For the families, the pain remains immeasurable. For the community, the shock still lingers. The University of Idaho killings changed the town forever. Security on campuses across the country was reevaluated. Students became more cautious, and millions of people followed the case online, trying to understand how such a tragedy could happen. In the quiet streets of Moscow, life has slowly returned to normal, but the memory of that night remains. For lives lost, community forever changed, and a crime that shocked the world. Because sometimes the most terrifying mysteries don't happen in dark alleys or abandoned buildings. Sometimes they happen in the places that feel safest. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more crime stories like this.